Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So today I want to talk about, something that makes me feel sad for some people, and it really makes me feel sad because it has to do with simply being human and simply living and existing in society. And it has to do with education. In my country, many older generations label themselves and even belittle themselves for lack of what you might call formal education. They identify their humanity, even subconsciously, with their lack of credentials, if you will, or lack of formal schooling. They say things like, I could only finish, high school. Oh, I could only finish elementary school, or I could only finish, my fourth grade. That's all I could do. But then it wasn't their fault because they were born in poor families of like 8 or something. And the government was certainly corrupt. But then, up to this day, these men and women, they're old, but then they identify themselves with, like, their lack of formal schooling. And it hurts. It makes me feel sad. And this tells you how sick society is, in my opinion at least. I mean, like, humans had been learning and educating themselves long before public school systems were even established. But then we live in a society where, again, lack of education illogically implies lack of self-worth or lack of humanity or lack of morals or just a reason to feel insecure. I don't understand why that is. It makes me feel sad. And I have a degree. Okay, I have a degree, but I don't see myself as superior to anyone who doesn't have a degree. The only thing I can think of when, I see people who have no degrees is that, they must be good at carpentry or plumbing, right? Or, I don't know, like maybe construction or maybe farming. Right? Something that feeds us all. And, farming, carpentry, plumbing, these things, without these things, humans, like our society would not function. But then, even without academic degrees, we would still be learning anyway. So I don't understand why You know, there is like this weird narrative where, like, it seems to be subtly implied that more years in education equates to more reasons to, like, brag, or more reasons to feel worthy. And less education, less years of formal schooling means less dignity. Like, it's weird. It really is weird. At least for me, it's really weird. And it hurts. It just hurts. Right? And what's even appalling is that we, parents, and, basically almost everyone, I think, have this idea that they want to send their children to school, or they send their children to school so that one day society will respect their children when they grow up. But then, is that it? Like, you want to get educated so that people will respect you? Like, is that it? Like, do we now live in a society where everyone is rude towards those who, like, don't have degrees or lack years of formal education? Well, it's not saying that everyone is rude, and their sense of respect for others is purely based on, numbers on papers and certificates. It's weird. I don't like it. I don't know if you like it, but I don't. Okay? So it just hurts, really. It just hurts. Okay, anyway, thank you very much for listening, really.